Linda Bedinger, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'm doing another of my tips and tricks videos. And this video is the last in a series of 4 that I've done on tying bows. And today what we're going to work on is tying bows around your work. So I've picked out a couple of ribbons here. This pretty striped ribbon, and it's called Gorgeous. It's a Gorgeous Grape, and it's mini striped ribbon. And then I've also selected Lemon Lime Twist, and this one is also the mini striped ribbon. Isn't that pretty? And this one looks to be 3/8 of an inch, and this one is 1/4 inch. Okay, so I'm going to get right to it. Tying a bow around your work is probably the hardest of all of the bows to tie, because it requires holding your first initial tie down so that you can get it nice and tight on your work. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now for this, usually I tell you keep your ribbon straight and keep your ribbon on the roll, but for this one we have to take it off the roll. So I'm going to set this out, and I'm going to add 2 inches to the full length of my grid paper here. So we're going to start out with a little bit more than 18 inches in both cases. So I'm going to cut both strips at about 18 inches. And that's going around your work this way. If you're going around your work this way, then you want to do around 22 to 24 inches. And so, well, maybe we'll do one going that way as well. Let's see. That would be 16, so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I would need to go an additional 7 inches here, and we'll tie one going one way and one going the other. Now on this one, it does seem like it's potluck how you can get your tails going in any direction that you choose. They kind of have a tendency to do what they want to do, but I'm going to show you a way to ensure that they do get where you want them. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is set our ribbon so that we've got roughly the same amount on either side of our card. So I'm pulling this up so that I know that I've got just about the same amount of ribbon on either side of this piece of card. Then I'm going to very deliberately cross this over with this piece coming across this piece and then going under, because that's going to allow me, and this piece here, this piece, I want to fold so that it lays as flat as possible on the card. So I'm going to twist it down this way. So now you can see that both pieces of ribbon coming this way and this way and this way and this way are about as flat as they can be. So this one is going to go over and under. This one is going to go over and under and up. Now, like on the first ribbon that we tied, you're going to start your loop in the direction that you want your tails to be. So I'm going to start with this bottom piece of ribbon, and I'm going to pull this piece just a little tighter. See how I'm making the paper curl? And I'm going to try and hold it there. It's going to slip, but at least we get started the right way. And I'm going to make a big loop out of this side. And then on this ribbon, instead of coming up and around, we're going to come up and over the ribbon this way, and then we're going to slide, make a loop here, and slide that loop back, under, and through, and that gives us the best chance on the front here of getting a nice knot. Okay, so I've let go of that ribbon, and in this case, the pieces that pull this bow tight are the top piece on this side and the bottom piece on this side. Let me pull that through a little bit. So the top piece on this side is going to pull the ribbon tight, and the bottom piece on this side. So we can pull those nice and tight, and still we have a pretty nice knot here on the top, and we should have both of our tails going in the right direction. So now the back one on this side and the top one on this side are going to make the bow smaller. Then you can pull it tight again, and you have your tails both coming down and away from the bow and your ribbon. And so there you go. You've got a bow tied, and you can make it smaller by pulling on these two tails here. But understand that the thing that's pulling it smaller is the back piece on this one and the top piece on this one. Get your bow pulled as tight as you want here, and there you go. And you've got a nice bow, a nice knot, and you've got your tails both coming in the direction that you want. So now we can trim these tails. Here we have a little bit more waste on this one, but I think it's worth it to get a nice bow on your work. This is now still loose enough that you can move it up and down your work. And let's say that you get a perfectly tied bow here, but this is just too loose and you don't want to retie it. What I'd encourage you to do is turn it over, pick up your slack here, and put some Scotch tape across here to hold that nice and tight on the front of your work rather than having to retie it. So that's the first one. Now I'm going to just slide this off, and we're going to do one going the long way, and it's exactly the same thing. Isn't that a pretty color combination? We're going to get our strings here about even on the card so that we end up with tails about the same. And on this one, I think I want my bow to be here and I want my tails to be coming this way. So I'm going to go over and under my work here. And this one, in order for that to stay straight, it's going to have to come up this way. Okay, and there we go. So if I want my tails to be on this side, then I have to start with this ribbon down here. All right, so again, fairly taut, and I'm going to make a nice big loop here. And the thing on this one is make sure you've got enough ribbon to tie it. That's why a lot of people go to the just putting this one on with a little bit of tape and then placing a bow along this edge, because it's just infinitely easier. Now, when we're this way, we've got a nice big loop here, and we are going to come around this bow this way, which gives us the best chance of getting a nice knot. And then we're going to slide this piece through and pull it on the back side. See if I can get it. There we go. And then the front of this one and the back of that one are going to pull those tight, and we're going to pull this tight here on the front of our work, and then make this a little bit smaller here. And there we go. We've got a nice bow, and the top one here and the back one here are going to pull that knot a little bit tighter. And then we've got, now here's a case where that's kind of looser than I would want it. You can solve that by putting, like I said, either you could put a couple of glue dots underneath here, or you can take this, pull it tight on the back, and then take a little piece of Scotch tape, and I'm going to do just that so you can see what I mean, and get this down tight here in the back, and make sure it's straight on your work here, and pull this one tight back here and put a little bit of Scotch tape on it. We've got a little bit of a play here, and I don't think that's going to hurt anything. It'll be right under our knot when we tie this tight. Then, again, all we really need to do is trim your tails here. And there we've got a nice bow on our work with the tails going the direction you want them and a nice knot on the front. And what you want to do is make sure you pull that up or down before you tape it on the back so you get it going and get it placed exactly where you want on your work. So that is the last of the bow tying tips and tricks, unless I come across something new that I don't know about. But it's there's a series of 4 of these now that have tying a simple bow, tying a plain and fancy faux bow, and doing triple, double, and triple bows, and now this one tying the bow that's actually right on your work and still getting a nice bow that you can be proud to have on your work. So that's it for me today. We'll start jumping into other tips and tricks, and my plan is to put up one of these videos a week on Sunday mornings, and so we'll move on to something. I think the next thing I want to tackle is how to make borders around your die cutouts when you don't have nesting dies. There's some cute little trick that you can do, little hack, and it gives you a perfect border around your die cut every time. And so that's it for me today. I'll be back soon with more cards and more projects. Bye.